firstly, like obviously you and I have known each other for a long time. I don't know how long ago it was.
Sotheby's days.
Tell us a bit about how you got into real estate.
When I say Sotheby's, and if anyone listening to this who knows me would go, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Her last name's Farah. She works at NG Farah. Why was she at Sotheby's?
Yeah.
I never wanted to do real estate. Ever. I grew up with a family full of real estate agents. Yeah. So like Christmas, birthdays, anytime there was a family get together, like every night of the week, that's all anyone spoke about. Yeah. After school, when I was in high school, I used to go and work on reception at the Kingsford office, 3:30 to 5:30 every day, earning a bit of extra cash. Yeah. Went to uni. I wanted to be a party planner. Yeah. Like I wanted to work in events. I just wanted to have fun. Right. I never wanted to do real estate. And then I found myself working, selling corporate hospitality for the NRL. So I was cold calling, trying to sell tables for 10 grand for the State of Origin and the NRL Grand Final. And like rejection and cold calling was like, that's all I got every day. That was it. Anyway, and I was in an office with these 4 guys and they weren't the nice, like listen, I got along well with them, but it wasn't the nicest atmosphere to be in. Yeah. Anyway, so I remember going to my mum's one night for dinner and I was complaining and she just said, give real estate a go. If you don't like it, then, you don't need to do it forever. And that was 11 years ago. Yeah. I thought I'd give it 3 months and I just fell in love with it. But I did it for 12 months working with my family at NG Farah and thought I need to go out and spread my wings. Yeah. So that's when we worked together at Sotheby's and I worked with one of, the agents there for a really short period of time, like 6 to 8 months. Yeah. And when I was selling around that Darling Point area, that's what made me realise I wanted to sell in my core market where I grew up, which was Coogee, Maroubra, Randwick. Yeah. I mean, like I love that area. Like that's home to me. Yeah. So then I went back and I worked at Rain and Horn for a couple of years before going back to Farah's.
So, and part of that, was it that you just wanted to experience different...
Have you ever worked with your family before?
I don't.
Yeah, have you?
Oh, I know. No.
I would totally die if my daughter wanted to work with me. Like, I get it.
Yeah, listen, no, I was not directly working with my dad and my uncle. However, the guys in our office and a lot of the partners at NG Farah have all been there for like 10, 15, 20 years. So, I've grown up with them. Yeah. I used to go into the office in my school uniform, and now they're trying to teach me things. And I just found it I found it a little difficult. And I just thought I need to go and learn from other people in the industry and I'll come back. Yeah.
But good on you for seeking mentorship in other places because, being a real estate legacy, if you like, it's, it would have been very easy for you to just learn the ropes from, through your family and through the people, the agents, the standalone agents at NG Farah. But you were like, no, actually, I need to go seek guidance elsewhere. Learn different ways of selling, work out what kind of agent you want to be as well. I think that's the biggest thing. And there's such a misconception in every agent is cut the same, and they're not.
So true, Bonnie.
You've got like relationship agents, you've got transactional agents, you've got to find your place in this industry. And you can only really do that by going out and working with other people and then coming back and going, no, this is actually who I am.
It's so true. You learn so much from different people and, take bits and pieces and work out what works for you. But I do love it. And I love working with my family. I do.
Well, that brings me to the next question. What makes you love what you do?
There's so many things about real estate that I love. Yeah. I feel very lucky that I get to work with the people I work with. Yeah. I honestly love going into the office every day. Obviously, there are some days that we don't always feel like going in, but I enjoy my job. Yeah. But I love people, and real estate on the surface, for someone who's not in the industry, they just think it's sales. But real estate is about building rapport with people, connection, customer service. It's about guiding people if it's the right time for them to sell or to buy or to lease out their property. Yeah. Everyone's circumstances are different. Yeah. It's not everyone's, in everyone's best interest to sell right at that time. Yep. And it's about giving them the right advice. So when it comes time to sell, they're going to come back to you. Yeah. I might not get the listing today, but I would like to get it in 5 years' time if I've given them the right advice.
You look at it as like, how can I help people? I just want to give people the right advice, the right guidance, so that when they're ready to make the biggest decision of their life with their investment, potentially their largest investment, they know that, you know, they're going to come back to you and seek your, you know, your services.
I got a call about 2 years ago from this lady. She was in her early 90s, and she said, Steph, I would like you to sell 2 properties for me. I'm the executor of an estate. And I said, sure. You know, where did you get my number? You know, like, thank you so much for reaching out. She said, your grandfather sold me and my first property I bought in Australia in the early 1960s, and he then sold it for me 5 years later in Todman Avenue in Kensington, and that gives me goosebumps right now. You know, he was such a gentleman. To get a call, like, that is the ultimate repeat business.
It doesn't get much better.
Gosh, it's like, that makes
Yeah.
me, you know, warm and fuzzy. So.
And I also think, like, I mean, I've known you for a long time, but looking at where we began together and how far you've come, and the amount of people that go, yeah, Stephanie's my agent, like, I want to use her. And in a sea of agents, I mean, real estate is one of the most competitive industries in the world, not let alone, you know. So to be able to be a cut above the rest, you know, that takes a lot of, what's the right word? It takes a lot of experience, but more importantly, like, you stand out in a sea of agents, you know.
One thing that Jason Boone told me was, you know, be a person first.
Yeah.
Best advice.
He's one of the best.
When I'm calling agents, you can pick out the genuine ones to the ones that are reading from a script.
Oh, totally. Like scripts and dialogue.
Oh my
I mean,
God, scripts and dialogues. I mean, love the scripts and dialogues, guys. It's
here we go. I'll wait till you get the end of your pitch and then I tell you I'm a buyer's agent. Asking me how long I've been on my property journey for. So what is one of the most common misconceptions people have about you as an agent?
I don't think people understand how long it takes for us to build rapport with our clients. I think that people think that, you know, it's really easy. You know, it's easy money. It's easy to list properties, and our job is quite simple. You know, from the outskirts, they see agents driving around with expensive watches and all the expensive cars, whatever, and they think that they live this lifestyle, but they don't see, you know, the years that go into it and how long it takes. Like you mentioned before, you know, we were entrusted to sell someone's biggest financial asset. Like, that's not a decision we take lightly.
100%.
But I do feel that, especially our market and a lot of the, you know, the owners in our area, they do understand. And I think that the generalisation of real estate agents and the stigma has changed. I think that a lot of owners have, like, there's so many great agents in the area. There are, like, with their process and practice, that they do get given the right advice. Not always, but I think that a lot of the generalizations of, you know, those old school agents have changed as well. So I think that's definitely a positive.
So I'm going to read this one. From your point of view, what challenges do you face when dealing with buyers?
Education. 100%. Also, if a buyer has been looking at a couple of different properties, they think they know the process, and then they go and deal with a different agent and the process is different. Or it's so hard for them. And it's also for them, like, trusting what the agent says. It's very difficult for a buyer who is just starting the process if they don't understand and they haven't grown up in the area. I mean, if you're from the UK or not from Australia or not even from the eastern suburbs and you've got to go to an auction, you don't understand the auction process of buying a property prior to auction and what that entails. It's very confusing. So,
do you spend a lot of your time educating buyers on what to do, you know, who to get in touch with?
Yes.
Just following on from this question, do you get a lot of people in today's market coming through the door that basically aren't ready to go? They're just browsing, if you like?
We do. Yeah, we definitely get a lot of people browsing the market and starting their search. So when someone comes into an open home and they say, listen, we're just starting their search, that is a great opportunity for me to then nurture them as a buyer and help them with their process. And that's something that Clodagh in my team is really, she does a lot of that buyer work and educating them on what's being sold in the area and what's the things that are coming up and what they can buy and so forth. I think it's really important because, again, like we said before, it's about the long game and buyers become sellers and buyers know people who want to sell something. And, you know, I have had 3 tenants, no joke, refer me onto listings of people that were selling that they knew that were selling properties.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Like tenants that, you know, just because I helped them when they were looking to buy and then, you know, help them with properties to rent, like no matter where they're at, if you give people help, if you help and service them, it all comes back around.
And I think as well, like, it's really smart that you have that attitude, because there are some agents out there, not to name names, but, you know, unless you're ready to go, they see the opportunity right in front of them, they will not give you the time of day as they would to like a vendor, if you like, or someone that's going to sell pretty quickly. So they treat buyers pretty poorly. They don't help them with that education. They don't guide them. They're dismissive of them. They don't return their calls. You know, so it's great that you treat everyone the same and you want to genuinely give everyone the same level of help.
If I'm selling a property prior to auction, or if we're going to auction and I ask the buyers, you know, have you bought something before? Do you understand the process? I explain to them what's going to happen and how it's going to play out. You know, if we receive an offer, make sure, you know, you've done your due diligence, you've got your finance approved, you know, and I explain it. So there are no surprises. So if I call them and say, we have received an offer, these are the next steps, they can be fully prepared and they can, you know, buy the property if they're able to.
And I think it's the female touch too.
I was going to say it, but yeah, it helps. You know, like they always say, I remember the best piece of advice I ever got, because when I came into property, I was like, you know, I feel like I have to grow a set of balls in order to compete with the men. And I come from a line of like, you know, real estate developers, and my great uncle, who's a very well-known developer, he turned around and said to me, but Court, like, be what they can't be, like be more feminine and showcase that, showcase your empathy, showcase your care. And it honestly, it's worth its weight in spades. Like you literally, like when you kind of have that genuine care for your clients, like they see that.
So leading on to that, what are the top 3 tips that you can give to buyers who are starting out on their property journey?
Other than engage with you guys? Okay, the first one is you need to have a great team. So broker and solicitor. So you need to communicate with them and they need to be responsive. You don't want to miss out on a property because your solicitor hasn't reviewed the contract and can't get you a 66W at 6 o'clock on a Friday night. You don't want a broker telling you need a cooling off period, or to buy the property with a cooling off period, when you actually don't. And so I think it's really important to have a really good, strong team. If you're starting out in your search, look at everything. Look at things in the surrounding suburbs. And the more you look at, you'll realise what you don't like. And then you'll figure out what is right and what your deal breakers are, you know, and what, you know, what you're having to negotiate on. And be open to surrounding suburbs. I think that's really important. If you look at a property and you don't know the area on the Saturday, go there on the Sunday, have a walk around, go to the cafes, see where the local parks are. It depends what's important to you. If the public transport into the city or wherever you work, like don't just rule something out because it wasn't the area that you specifically wanted to be in. I think being open mind is important, and then bring it back. You know, you don't want to be doing that for 3 months.
But no, it's good. Like you basically educate yourself enough so that you can fine tune your search. And then work out what you prefer.
And it's willing to actually compromise as well. Just being able to, you know, look beyond those the core suburbs that you want. And because the right property might be in the next suburb, and it's not that far, guys. It's fine.
I mean, if you're looking at, you'd like to be in Randwick, but you see something in Kingsford that's on the Randwick border. One side of the street is Randwick, the other side of the street is Kingsford. Go and have a look at it. You know, you're probably going to pay a little bit less as well. And then I would say the third thing is, if you like a property, tell the agent. Like, communicate.
There's always this like, you know, like I don't want the agent to know that I'm interested.
Like, you don't need to tell the agent how much you have to spend. You can still hold your cards close to your chest, but if as a buyer, someone comes in and tells me, you know, we like the property, what are the next steps, and communicates with me, then I'm going to help them try and buy the property. You know, the more I know, the more I can help them. Or if I can't help them buy that one, help them buy something else. Even if it's not being sold with us, you know, if we can help people, again, it's a long game.
I think that's also, I want to like tell a case study about you actually, with us buying property. Like one of my clients had a 2-week deadline, I think it was. You were selling the property they were renting.
Yes.
And they came to me and they were like, we're getting kicked out of our apartment. Steph's going to be the agent. Our pre-approval's about to lapse, and for whatever reason, they weren't able to go through that journey again. So it was like, that was the final pre-approval they were going to get at that point. And Faz called me and she's like, I was like, I need something within 2 weeks. And she was like, this is my timeline for the sale. And I exhausted the market. They wanted to buy Maroubra. They had a super tight budget, super tight brief. And you and I were working on something together. Then another buyer's agent came in and at the last minute and paid more of a premium.
They paid a lot of money.
Honestly, I'm not going to say names, but I was like, they can have it.
I couldn't believe it got to that level, really.
We got into a Dutch auction, and for those that don't know, that's when it's back and forth, Steph's facilitating the negotiation behind the scenes. And I remember being like, they can have it. And I was like, I think we had 3 days left of their pre-approval or 2 days left. And the next day, Steph called me and she's like, I don't have something, Cameron Ellie does. Like, on the street across the road, it was like, I got it at a better price. It was a better product. I almost wanted to send it to the buyer's agent and be like, ha. I didn't know, I'm not that petty.
But, we work together as a team at Farah's as well, and even though we've got the 4 offices and Cam's not in my office, everyone knows what everyone's got coming up, and there's no secrets. I can have, a list of properties that I'm chasing on my desk at work, on my whiteboard, and people walk past it, no one's going to call them.
The way you navigated that, I mean, if it wasn't for you making that initial call, my clients might not have found the property. Well, they wouldn't have got the property. So, thank you.
Okay. Next question, because it's a long one. Are there any specific areas that are experiencing significant growth or change?
I would say we're seeing a lot of people that own properties in, say, like Bronte, Waverley, Bondi, and like North Randwick, they're migrating further south. When I say migrating further south, I mean driving 10 minutes. But like suburbs like Matraville, Chifley, Malabar, Little Bay, Maroubra, I mean, for $3 to $4 million, what you buy in, Malabar, Matraville, Chifley is completely different to what you're going to buy, and the builds that are getting built there are high spec, high quality builds. You're 13 minutes to the city on the ED. You're still not far from the beach, and buyers have, the owners have then a better quality of life. They've got more space for their kids. So, I think people are less stuck on, the areas. We still live in the eastern suburbs. Everything is still so close. So we've seen a lot more of that. And I think a lot of that's post-COVID too. People want more space. So we're definitely seeing more of that. And like Chifley and Matraville, it's such a beautiful place to raise kids. It's so quiet. The streets are wide. You can still drive, ride your bike down the street down there, and it's not really busy. And I love Maroubra. I live there, I'm biased, but it's really quiet. It's just a bit slower pace.
But like you said, you get a little bit more bang for your buck and a little bit more accommodation, which is what everyone wants. And, as the eastern suburbs continues to grow, people do spread out further and further.
Well, these suburbs are now affluent suburbs. It's, we're very fortunate where we live.
What do you see as the future trends in real estate, especially in your market?
I have noticed, I would say definitely over the last 12 months, more buyers opting to use buyer's agents. Yeah, which is really, and I'm not just saying that because I've just thought that on the spot. No, because there used to be this stigma that you use a buyer's agent, if you're spending $4, $5, $6 million plus dollars. But now, it is the mums and dads and the first home buyers, people that are time poor. They want someone who specialises in that field. They don't want to be dealing with real estate agents. They want someone to take the stress away. So for the fee that they have to pay, it's justified. I mean, I personally still like going to a travel agent because I don't want to have to go online and search for the best deals. Like I like going, to use the valet parking at Western Wellington Junction. That $10 that you spend is well worth it. No, I just think that people want things to be like people to take away the stress. And if mum and dad are both working, full time and they've got 2 kids. I just feel like it's not viewed as someone, who just is, high net wealth. people using buyer's agents. I think we're seeing that across the board.
Absolutely.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Final words of wisdom for our listeners entering the real estate market as a seller or as a buyer.
Okay, as a buyer, don't get emotionally invested. When you're looking to buy property, figure out where you see value, add an emotional price, and if you don't buy it, you don't buy it and you move on. Yeah. But don't wait for the market to drop. Be like as well, like what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. But there will be another property, so don't just sit on the fence. But it's okay. Yeah. You'll find another one.
Like, you're right. You see people on the floor after they miss out on property, and it's like, it wasn't your property. Like, there will be another one. There's always going to be another one.
If you can't afford to spend any more on the property, then it wasn't supposed to be your property.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would say, sellers, don't go for the agent who tells you the most money.
Oh, amen.
All the time.
Picking an agent, is it's a massive decision, and the agent is an extension of you as a seller. Yeah. Who do you want representing you? So I would, don't just believe everything they tell you in the listing presentation. Yeah. Like, do a bit of research. Make sure they're at your open homes. Like, go to their opens and see how they interact with buyers. Yeah. Do a bit of your own, due diligence.
Well done, and kudos to you for having those tough conversations up front, because there's a lot of agents out there that don't do that, and then they're having those tough conversations down the line, and it's leaving a bit of taste in, the vendor's mouth as well.
I mean, I don't win every listing, and I don't pretend to, and I know that I lose listings sometimes because maybe I haven't told them enough money, but at the end of the day, like, I'm going to go in there and be honest, and I need to be able to sleep at night, and I do very well, So, and you're not meant to win everything.
We do a little bit of vendor advocacy as well. Yeah. And when we're interviewing these agents for our clients' properties, it's so hard for vendors to not hear the numbers of what they're pricing a home. And I always like to say, don't listen to what they've priced and put a value on your home as being the core reason why you're going to engage them, but look at the strategy that they've implemented and the dynamics. Are you going to have a good relationship with them throughout the campaign? Because it's like a marriage for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, and you want to be able to have some banter and know that they've also got a structure in place to get the most money out of your home. So I always like to don't always listen to pricing, and it's so hard for vendors.
Obviously you go out there and you shoot for the stars,
Of course, but the process is the most important.
And I think that's as well why you're respected in the industry, because you have those honest, transparent conversations, not just with vendors but with buyers as well. You're not leading your vendors down the garden path, you're not leading buyers down the garden path, and there's nothing worse than when, for example, we go into a property and we try and buy it and we're paying market value or even a bit of a premium for the opportunity, and then the agent comes back being like, oh no, they want like an extra 20-30% above what it's worth. Like, there's no opportunity there, there's no win for anyone. So does my head in.
Well, that's the end of it. Thank you so much.
Honestly, we love you.
Appreciate it.